Wait, so $9,000 is your income, or is that the revenue?
No, it's my income. No, mine. It's mine.
Okay, so just for you, $9,000.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, wait, where you located at?
I'm in Mexico right
In
now.
Mexico. Okay,
Yeah.
let me ask you this. So you making 9,000 or eight to $9,000 per month from Mexico. Like, what's the average income like in Mexico?
Wow. Well, I guess if you consider yourself like a pretty well-paid employee, you could say maybe anywhere between 1,500, like 1,500,
Wow.
1,800, something like that. And that's considered good.
Hey, this is Markus Dunk, and I'm sitting here with our client, Arianna from Mexico, who has just cracked the 8,000 US dollars per month mark, which is super, super exciting. And we're going to talk about her story today, what exactly she does and how we basically helped her get there. So yeah, Arianna, thank you so much for tuning in. I am super excited to have you here today. And I really appreciate you taking the time to talk to me today.
Yeah, me too. I'm really, really excited to be here. I don't know, it feels unreal.
Yeah, I mean, it haven't been that long that you joined our program. But like, how much exactly have you made, let's say, over the last 4 weeks? Like, and of course, how much exactly have you been making over the last couple of months? Why don't you tell us a little bit about that?
Okay. Well, I guess last month, considering what I'm making, what I made last month and what I'm making this month so far, I would be coming close to $9,000, almost $10,000, like considering everything, like last month and this month in revenue collected. Yeah.
Wow, that's great. Wait, so $9,000 is your income, or is that the revenue?
No, it's my income. No, mine. It's mine.
Okay, so just for you, $9,000.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, wait, where you located at?
I'm in Mexico right now.
In Mexico. Okay, yeah. Let me ask you this. So you making 9,000 or eight to $9,000 per month from Mexico. Like, what's the average income like in Mexico?
Wow. Well, I guess if you consider yourself like a pretty well-paid employee, you could say maybe anywhere between 1,500, like 1,500, 1,800, something like that. And that's considered good. Great, I would say 2,500, but that's
like doctors, politicians, how much do they make in Mexico per month?
I had a friend who was actually in politics, and she made close to $2,500.
So you make a lot more than people in politics, than doctors, lawyers, all of that's amazing. That's so cool.
Yes.
Okay. I mean, tell us about like what kind of deal, like what are these deals? Like what are you closing? Like how would you explain closing to someone who maybe have never heard about it before? And then what are you closing? What type of deals are those?
Okay. Well, for me, closing is helping people break through. It's break through this, I don't know, I like to think of it like a glass wall. You know, like there's a lot of people who say that they want to achieve their dreams, right? Right now, I'm closing deals that have to do with people building an e-commerce store or creating a coaching program, which for a lot of them, the dream is to live free or to make more money and to eventually quit their jobs, right? So that's something that they're looking for. So there's a lot of people who want to do that, but when they come to the solution, when they found actually a solution, a lot of people just back away. They're like, you know what, this is too scary. However, it's just a glass wall. Like their dreams are on the other side, and closing is to actually help them just realize that the only way out is through. So it's just helping them through, cross that glass door and then realize that it's what they've been dreaming about. So it's just helping people achieve their dreams and making money while you do that, which is pretty
that's great. Okay, so what are you closing? What kind of deals are those?
Okay, so well, I'm working for 2 different offers right now. I'm working with one offer that is related to e-commerce, okay, which is completely, it's 100% for women, by women, for women.
Oh, so interesting. It's good.
Yeah, and that's very interesting and very cool, because lots of women don't, or maybe they've had this dream of setting free, of having a business of their own, but society sometimes it's like, no, that's for men, like that's not for you. But it's just helping them realize that if they believe in themselves, it can happen. So I really love that part. And the other one is actually in Spanish, which is something very strange because I've had experience only in English. Like most of the offers that I've closed are in English, in the English market. And I didn't really knew how it worked in Spanish. So now that I'm seeing it in Spanish, I think also it is very interesting because I'm helping people create their own coaching program. I've spoken to many psychologists, therapists, coaches in Latin America. And being a psychologist myself, I know that sometimes it can be like underrated, like you don't get paid enough, like your knowledge is not, sometimes it can be underappreciated. So it's really nice to help these coaches, therapists, psychologists to monetize what they know and to realize that there's a market for it.
Wow, that's amazing. So you're closing in English on the international market, and you're also closing in Spanish, because Spanish is, I guess, your mother tongue, right? That's great. Awesome. So it's actually an asset if English is not your first language, you speak another language, you could just close in your native language, basically.
Absolutely. Yes, absolutely.
That's great. How did you find these closing opportunities? How did you find these closing gigs?
Well, these closing gigs and all of the closing gigs that I've found in the past, like I've done it through networking and by optimizing my social media, like by showing people what I do, how can I add value to their businesses. And I realized that there's a huge industry behind all of this. Yes. I got first contacted by a recruiter, and I didn't know that there was such a thing. I was like I didn't know that there was actually people in this industry with that role of actually finding closers for companies, right? So I was like, okay, that's pretty cool. Like they reached out, and then from there, I just started building my network. I got contacted by an agency who's actually helping businesses increase their sales volume, and then I got to, I kind of made a name for myself. I don't want to say that I'm famous or anything, but they offer these these trainings, and I just love to participate, ask questions, role play sometimes. So just by being out there and by showing the industry and this huge world that's out there, what you can do, that to me was the most valuable thing that I've ever done.
Awesome. Wow. That's great. That's so cool. So it's really about being proactive, going out there, making use of your network, right? That's something that I always like to tell people, like you need to have a strong peer group, a community, where there are like-minded people, where you can get involved. And opportunities, they're really abundant. There's so many great opportunities out there for good closers, and you probably have heard me saying that before. Like there are opportunities for good closers. So if you're out there and you're on your own and you're wondering why have I trouble landing a closing gig? Like, are you a good closer? That's probably the first thing you need to ask yourself, right? Let's talk a little bit about your background. So what did you do previously to when you joined our mentoring program, when we got to know each other?
Well, that was actually a year ago this month exactly. So which is pretty interesting. Yeah, because I started February 2021. And then I was a high school teacher. I used to teach at an international high school. I used to teach business and economics because my background was owning a couple businesses of my own, and also trading. I learned a little bit about that. So that's what I taught in high school. So that in 2020 things changed. So the whole school system changed. Everything.
The entire world changed, I think, right? 2020.
Exactly. Yeah. The entire world changed. And the way it affected education was now we had to do everything online. And honestly, I realized when we were working online that what I enjoyed the most about my job was actually helping students become a better person. Right. So then online, it was very, very hard because then it was all about the content and I didn't like them. So it was way more work. And to me, education in that sense, like it became a little bit meaningless, even though I loved it. But in that scenario, to me, it was a little bit meaningless. So, and all the time, even my students and people around me were always telling me, like, you can do more. You know, you have a huge asset, you know, business, you know, economics, you speak English very well. Why don't you use that? Right. And I was like, okay, I guess I'm tired of feeling underappreciated. Like they were asking more and more work for less and less money. And and also students were changing also, like they were not as appreciative as before. So I decided to, instead of helping them achieve their dreams, which is something that I really love, I would go for my own dreams as well. Right. That's something that I realized, like, okay, I've been helping students for 5 years reach their dreams. I'm always telling them to dream big, go for what they want. So I guess now it's time for me to do what I've been preaching. Right.
Totally. 100%.
And that's what I decided to do. And I realized that closing is exactly the same thing, right? Helping others achieve their dreams.
Yeah, making a tough decision, right?
Exactly.
Also making or putting themselves first, you know, and we also talked about that throughout this last year a lot, like with the analogy of the airplane example. Okay, so you putting on the oxygen mask first and then help the people around you, because the other way around, if you always like prioritize other people, like you will just drop down to the floor and will pass out because there's no oxygen. Okay, you will burn out or whatever. So that's pretty much from what I'm hearing, what you then decided to do. Okay, I have to put myself first. I really want to achieve my dreams, and I want to break out of this kind of cycle that you said. What do you think that we help you with the most here at this mentoring? Like what was the biggest lesson for you really that you got from the mentoring program?
Well, I don't know. There's many of them. There's many lessons, but I would say maybe the biggest one would be to focus on one thing. Like either it's all or nothing, right? Like if you dabble different things, if you try different avenues, and if you're only thinking about the money, and if you're thinking about different ways in which you want to make money, then it's not going to be fun. And it's not going to work, right? It's never going to work, because it's like your efforts are all spread very, very thin. Like you're not actually making anything grow. So I guess to me, that was the most important thing, to learn that either I focused, either I made it work, or it was never going to happen, right? Like it was 100% my responsibility. And also, like if I didn't focus, then I would be just wasting time and energy.
Yeah. Wow. I mean, it's a pretty big jump, you know, from you being a teacher, bottom line, right, to closing high ticket sales. Just quickly, because I'm curious, and if you're not comfortable sharing that, okay, because now you make around 9K per month, you said. So where are you coming from? What did you do previously, like a year ago, in your job as a teacher?
Yeah. Well, actually, like for a teacher in Mexico, it was a very good job. Like it was kind of rare, because I worked for, like I said, like an international private high school. So I made about like 1.5K. Like that was usually on a good month, I would make even 2,000. Okay, on and with extra things and like other stuff besides my classes, like I would make around 2,000.
Gotcha. Wow. So basically, more than 4 times your income within a year, which is pretty impressive. Okay. Like I'm curious. Like, of course, your family, they know you as the Arianna who's a teacher, you know, with kids and all of that. What does your family say about the progress that you've made in that last year?
Well, at least my mom at first, like she doesn't fully know or understand what I do right now, but I mean, she was a little concerned at first with, okay, so are you going to be just making commissions? And I'm like, yes. And she was like, but are you sure? Like, why don't you find something that's more secure? Like, why don't you just go for something that's more secure, right?
Yeah.
And then something that I realized lately, and then that I learned about in a video, and I think I'm gonna use this analogy to explain her a little bit more, is that, well, actually, I think I'm at a much safer place now than I was before, because before, as an employee, you're kind of a instead of being an asset, you're a cost to the company. Okay, you're a cost to the company. They're spending money on you, but if you are on the money making side, then you're an asset. Then it's they will want to keep you, and if you're good, they're going to be paying you what you're actually bringing in. So I feel much safer now, and I want to tell her that. And also, like, all my friends around me, they're like, okay, yes, like, we knew you can do it, right? Like, you just had to just open your eyes and realize it, right? Like you had to just take the jump. But of course, before I did it, they were a little bit hesitant. They were like, are you sure? Do you want to do this? But now that they are seeing the results, they're like, oh, yes, we knew you could do it, of course. But now that I'm on the other side.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, that's always what I think is very important, that you just, instead of you talking a lot that you're going to make it work, just let the results and let the actions speak the language, like speak for themselves. One thing that you said is, you said you feel now a lot more secure than you did previously in your job. Where do you think does that feeling come from?
I guess, I think it comes from knowing that now I have a skill that it's going to be like, it's the most valuable skill in any company, and not just now. I think it's always been the most valuable skill. You know, like even before the internet, before before like all of these new things that we have, like whenever you are on the, like I said, on the money making side, you're going to be valuable for everyone. Like everyone will want to work with you, and they will offer you opportunities and deals, because it's, and also I would say, like, it's a skill that not everyone is willing to master. And I'm not saying that it's because it's difficult. Like, I think it's pretty simple, but it's also a little scary, because we've been like taught that speaking to people can be scary, like persuading them, it's a little scary, it's difficult, it's unethical. So we have all of this baggage, like cultural baggage, that we have to get rid of first. So I guess that now that's why I feel a little bit more secure, because I'm doing something that not everyone is willing to do. However, that makes it that much valuable. And the brave ones, the ones who go out and actually do it, and ask for help and reach out, then that's when you make it, right? That's when you make it work. And once you have the skill, it's always going to be with you. Like, no one's going to take it away.
Yes, exactly. 100%. I like just to throw in the word like financial confidence. Just to summarize what you just said, that you're waking up and you know for sure it doesn't matter what happened, you will always be able to out there to like close another deal, jump on a new offer, because like even in good times, you know, everyone wants to grow their business, but in bad times, like everyone needs good closers to really make sure that they stay alive. Right. So there will always be people out there who are pushing anything, even if Corona 5.0 or whatever comes around, you know, there will always be people pushing an offer where if you're a good closer can jump onto or close these people actually on working with you, you know. So financial confidence is really what I believe is the biggest asset that closing is going to give you in terms of a feeling, you know. So yeah. So what would you say to someone that is maybe not 100% sure about joining our mentoring program, or maybe they are in a position where they are watching these interviews that we did and they're considering joining, but they don't know, is it the right thing for them? You know, is closing high ticket sales the road that they should take? Like, what would you tell a person like that?
Well, I guess I would use a quote that I'd like to use also on my calls, that it's like, there's like two two types of fear, right? The fear of changing, the fear of doing something different, and the fear of staying the same forever, and in 10 years realize that you never made a change, right?
Yeah.
So, and also life is going to be difficult either way, right? It's going to be difficult if you stay where you are, and life is going to be difficult if you make a change. However, if you make a change and if you move forward, at least you have now a tool, you have now an asset, you have now something new to work with. Whereas if you stay where you are, to me, that would be way more like it's way more daunting. Like, it's scary to understand that if in 10 years you wake up and you realize that you did do anything to achieve the life that you were dreaming of. To me, that is the scariest thing ever. Like, that's what pushes me. That's what I like to tell my prospects as well. Like, you have to realize it's either way, it's going to be hard. Like, either way, there's going to be fear of staying the same, fear of moving forward. However, if you move forward, now you have something to fall back on. Now you have a skill. Now you have a community. Now you have a mentor, someone who's going to push you like you pushed me. So now you have tools. Now you have something, right? Instead of just having nothing in exchange.
I think that's exactly it, you know, and I love that you said it's going to be hard either way, because that's so true. You know, if you stay put in your situation and you know that you're not happy with it, yeah, temporary it's going to be easy, but permanently it's going to be hard as you grow older and nothing changed. But I mean, if you are willing to take temporarily hardship and make a tough decision, you know, your life's going to change 180 degrees. You know, you might as well kind of like 4x your income and get a lot of more freedoms than you had before, then you will be able to have a very easy life permanently going forward, right? So I'm definitely in the same camp with you of taking the hardship on first up front, face it head on, to make sure, okay, the rest of my life is relatively easy, if you want to say it that way. So I mean, right now you're working as a closer, you have these two offers, you know, like, what does your day-to-day life look like right now?
Well, I wake up early. Like, I've always been like, it's never hard for me to wake up early. However, like, now I can like move my schedule around. Now I can choose, like, for example, this month I made like little short trips over the weekend and during the week, and I don't have to ask for permission or anything like that. I just make sure that my schedule, like, it's full, that I am just meeting all of my commitments, just being there for my calls. And as long as I meet that, as long as I meet my goal, then I'm good. Like, I can do whatever I want for the rest of the week. Like, for example, today I only had 3 calls, and the rest of the day was like for me, okay, to enjoy my time and actually like do other things. And before I had a set schedule, but that means that I had to ask for permission. There was always someone there to dictate what I would do or not. But now I get to do that. Like, I get to choose my own schedule. Like, like this morning, I was looking at my schedule and just moving it around to make the rest of my life work, which is something that to me, like, that's the first thing, or the first milestone also in regards to my own freedom.
Love it. Wow. So for you, what's really like the most valuable thing of you having learned the skill and like going through this transformation throughout this last year and getting to where you are today? Like, what was really kind of the big learning, the biggest aha for you, something, I don't know, that you might want to share to give people value, something that really, I mean, you mentioned focus earlier, so I think that's definitely super valuable. Maybe there's one more that you want to share.
Yes. Well, actually, and I'm sure you remember that, like, the beginning of this year and at the end of last year, I was like on the brink of just giving up. I was like, you know what? I don't know if I can do this. This is difficult. Maybe I don't have it in me. Maybe this is something that just a few people can do. Maybe it's a natural skill and I don't have it. So like, I was just I was doing other things. Like I went back to trading. It didn't work out, but like before, and I was just so stressed out about my situation that instead of actually focusing, I was all stressed out, and also complaining and many different things. And
I think I remember when we had the call a couple of months back. I think that was more or less around the time that you're referring to. What happened after that? Like,
yeah, well, I remember you sent me a message that said with this little seed beam, like,
yes.
like you're just being planted, like you're in the dark, you have all this pressure, but and now you're feeling the pressure, but that means that you're just about to push through, right? Like if you give up, you may not find what's on the other side, right?
Yes.
And that also made me think that if it's gonna happen, like I'm gonna be the one who's gonna make it happen, right? Like no one's gonna do it for me. Like if I want to achieve my dreams, like of course, like I have you, I had the rest of the family at the Freedom Skill Masterclass, like I had everyone, right? I had all these tools, but it was up to me to actually make it work, right? Like and that's when I realized like it's all or nothing. Either I make it work or it will never work. So I might as well just do my best. And also something that clicked with me, I can't remember where I heard this, but I remember I heard something that said that goes like, you are what you do every day, right?
Yes, so
For
true.
example, if you teach every day, you're a teacher, right? If you close every day, then you're a closer, right? So that's what I realized. Like what I do every day makes what I am, right? So then that's when I realized, like, okay, I'm gonna role play every day as if this was my real calendar. I'm gonna do this every day. I'm gonna be in this identity of, if this is what I want to do, if this is what I want, then I'm gonna do what a closer does every day, right? And that's when it clicked. Something clicked, something changed, and I started doing that. And opportunities just like they were there. Like I had at one point I was like interviewing with 4 to 5 people. So I kind of got to choose who I wanted to work with, which was very, very cool, very interesting.
Luxury problems.
Exactly. Yeah, it was a nice problem to have, having that many people to work with. And yeah, that's what clicked with me. That's what changed.
That's great. Yeah. Hey, I think this is super valuable, not just for our current clients who going to get exclusive access to our interview first, but also then once we publish it to everyone else. So that's super super valuable. So what are going to be the next steps for you? Do you have any plans yet for this current year? Like what's next for you?
I guess my next milestone will be consistency, right? To make this amount of money consistently and to close consistently for my company. And by consistently, I mean staying at the same revenue level at least like every month or more. Yeah. And that's to me the goal for at least the first quarter of the year. And then after that, just be in the like top 3 of my company. Like right now I'm a little below that. So maybe top 3 in the company. And also with the other closer in Spanish, it's a closer knit. So just maybe teaming up with him, creating new offers. So I don't know, be a little bit more involved like in the marketing side. So I don't know, just becoming a more valuable member for the teams that I'm in.
Yeah, that's great. So just basically continue to develop and master the skill, adding more value to your influencers, to your companies, to the partners that you're working with, and also, of course, developing you personally. I mean, it goes hand in hand, right? Closing and personal development. It's basically the same. Yeah. So yeah, I'm really excited for this year and see where you are in 6 months down the road. Maybe we can reconnect, do an update on where you at.
Absolutely.
I'm just excited to keep supporting you. I'm sure we're gonna get you to the 10K consistently. So yeah, let's get to work. And then Arianna, is there anything else that you want to mention before we're gonna wrap up this interview? Before we're gonna wrap up our call here? Well,
I guess the last thing that I want to say is that you you can never know what's it like until you're on the other side, right? With this glass wall that I said before, like your dreams are just on the other side of the glass wall. Like maybe if you push through, it's going to be a little painful at first, but at least you're going to be closer to your dreams. So that's it. Just push through, and if you really want to do something different, just gotta go for it. Because that's
I like that. I like that attitude. That's great.
Of course.
Hey, Arianna, thank you so much. It was amazing having you on. I think this is going to be super helpful for a lot of people. So if you're watching this right now and you're interested in learning more about how you can maybe do the same, there's a link down below where you can go ahead and actually schedule a consulting call. It's going to be free of charge. You will be talking to me personally, and then we can see how we can put a strategy together to help you out as well. All right. Yeah, Arianna, thank you so much one more time. And
thank you.
see you around. Bye-bye.
Bye.